What happens when one of the defining dance tracks of the 90s gets a brand new lease of life in 2026? On this episode of the MarshyCast, I'm joined by 90s dance icon Kym Sims to talk about her massive hit Too Blind to See It and why now felt like the perfect time for a brand new version. We chat about how the song first came to life in Chicago, how her background as a jingle singer helped shape the recording, and what she remembers from performing it on Top of the Pops. Plus, how the track helped shift the UK dance scene from rave culture into house music. It's Paul Marsh, and I'm delighted to say that I've been joined by Kym Sims. Kym, how are you?
I'm even better now that I'm talking to you, Paul. Very good to see you.
Flattery will get you everywhere.
Good.
So let's talk about the big hit single, Too Blind to See It. It still fills dance floors more than 30 years later.
Right.
When did you realise that this song had become one of those forever tracks that people will never ever let go of?
Yesterday. I mean, really, it's like it's 35 years old this year, and you know, every time I'm somewhere, especially living here in the UK right now, and I go somewhere and it's being played, it's like today. Yeah. I realize. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, when we were doing it 35 years ago, I had no idea that I'd be sitting here talking to you about a song from 35 years ago. So it really still is one of those things where it still amazes me. You know what I mean? So I'm excited and happy about it. But yeah, today.
It's funny, isn't it? Because I think do you know what? I played Queen and David Bowie Under Pressure, and I was saying that when they recorded that, they were both kind of well into their career. So I think when you record that, you go, okay, we know this is going to be magic, and we know we're going to hear it for years and years and years.
Right.
When you recorded that, I would assume it was probably one of a few tracks that you recorded. When you did record it, did it at least stand out to you as the best of the bunch, and you knew that that was going to do that, or not even that?
You must be in my head, because no, it didn't. Honestly, and I tell that story when I remember recording it. There's a urban version of it. That was the one that I actually thought was going to take off and do, and it did its thing, you know. I had a whole album, and of course, all of the songs that I thought were the ones, you know, weren't. I shouldn't say they weren't. A lot of them weren't released. But Take My Advice, which was my follow-up, I never imagined Too Blind to See It. I just kind of sang it. It was like, whatever, you know. But at that point of my life, I was going through a bad situation with someone that I was too blind to see it about. So it did sort of resonate with my life and my lifestyle. But never, I didn't think it at one time. Everybody else believed in it, but I didn't.
So did it start life as an R&B song?
It did. It's the soul version.
Yeah.
The soul version. So on the CD, if you look on the, I think it's the last track, it's the soul version. But when it started to bubble under over here, and when the record label took hold of it, East West and Atco Atlantic Records, they pulled the pop version. And then, of course, you know, they sped my vocals up. I sounded like a chipmunk. So, you know, it just never was, to me, was the one that was going to do anything. But hey, I'm not complaining at all.
So where was that original recorded?
So the original was recorded in Chicago, well, outside of Chicago, in a studio that Steve and all of his partners had, which was called ID Records in Brookfield, Illinois. So that's where we did it.
It's funny, that's not the only time I've heard that, because of course Chicago has such a great house scene that, you know, I've heard about a lot of R&B tracks and soul tracks that were remixed by the house DJs and Chicago house DJs, and they became worldwide phenomenons.
I know, and the thing is, the interesting part about that is I wasn't a house head. house music found me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that speaks to what you just said, where they would take an R&B song or take something else, remix it, and make it house. So in essence, I consider myself a middle of the road sort of artist, pop, R&B, jazz, whatever. And so to have me, go into the house vein, it was a new avenue. But once again, here I sit with you, so I'm all right with it. I'm all right.
Now, I read this, so I'm not 100% sure if this is true. Obviously, you would have started doing singing, but we all have to pay bills. Now, Did you start out singing advertising jingles?
I was a jingle singer first. Absolutely. And did that for 10 years before I even touched Too Blind to See It. So I had been doing McDonald's, Pizza Hut, Shasta, which was a big soda, Coca-Cola, Poppin' Fresh Dough, Pillsbury products, all of that stuff, mostly American products. But yeah, that was my life. And when I tell you the money was good, so I was able to pay the bills. That was a good thing. But yeah, that's the way I started. Absolutely.
So did singing the jingles, did that teach you anything that you could take into your music, or did you have to unlearn things that you had done for the jingles?
That's interesting too. Great questions, by the way. So that was one of the things some of the producers used to say. They'd say, Kym, when you sing a song, meaning in the studio, aside from the jingle, when you sing a jingle, everything has to be precise. Like McDonald's, Mick, you get. So I took that into singing, and they're like, no, you got to let that go. Let go. You don't have to be more relaxed when you sing the song. So yeah, so it was kind of it was a good and a bad thing at the same time, but we worked through it. Yeah, great question.
Now, I always ask artists, when I speak to artists who had hits in the 90s, I love asking this question. Two-part question. Did you get to go on Top of the Pops?
I did.
And do you have any stories from anybody that you met or anything that happened, any other artists, anything from your time on Top of the Pops?
Wow. Nothing. I can only speak to this part of it. I can remember Steve's manager at the time, who became everyone's manager. He said to me, he says, you're going to the UK and you're going to be on Top of the Pops. And I'm a little girl from the south side of Chicago. I didn't like flying. And I'm thinking, why do I have to go over there? How come I can't? You know what I mean? I didn't understand it. But Top of the Pops for the UK was like American Bandstand or Soul Train for our side of the world, or for that side of the world, since I'm here now. Anyway, so I can remember, going and thinking to myself, well, this will be interesting. I couldn't figure out what it was I was going to really see. But I'll tell you, the best feeling was being able to get out on that stage and, have to be introduced to a market I knew nothing about, and then to see all of the people in the audience or in the dance, and they're all singing the song. That to me was like an aha moment. I'm like, oh, this is some real stuff here, So that would be my experience with Top of the Pops. It was amazing, and I didn't realize it sends you up the charts. You get on Top of the Pops.
Oh, yeah.
Pew. So yeah, definitely. That would be my experience, just being there and walking out on stage and realizing and recognizing everybody knew Too Blind to See It.
You don't remember anybody that you were on the same show as or anything like that?
I don't. You know what? I really don't. And I
probably all going at 100 miles an hour.
Really, and that's very true. Like, I think about it now, and I can sit back and sort of remember things here and there. But when you're in the moment, it's a fast-paced thing, and I liken that to. I tell everybody this. I said, now when I can sit back and realize it, and hear people like you or someone. I did a gig last week, and they were like, "Oh my God, your song!" Da da da. Then it all comes to me. Do you know what I mean? But in the process, you're just trying to go from one to the next, and just excited,
Now, obviously, the UK 90s dancing. So Too Blind to See It, did that come out in 91, 92?
91. That's right, 91.
Now,
35 years.
When you think about it, because in the early 90s, 1991, probably 92, in the UK, it was all about rave music, The Prodigy and bands like that. Whereas Too Blind to See It had that real Chicago house vibe to it.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, and that's the way that obviously all UK dance music went. It went that way. So when you think about it, that track is one of the tracks that was the early trendsetter for the next 5 to 6 years.
I know. And that's even amazing to me, because I was reading an article. This just goes to show you how things just went over my head. I read an article not long ago, and it said that I was the first house music singer to cross over to a pop chart. I'm like, really? How much do I get for that? But it's the stuff you don't really necessarily recognize or realize in that moment. So yeah, it was amazing. And they did, that group of producers and those people that did the remixes and the whole nine, they sent it to a whole nother level. And I'm glad I was a part of it. I really am. I can't say anything but wonderful things about that time of my life, for real.
Now, Too Blind to See It is getting a 2026 re-release. Why choose to bring it back now, and how did the idea first come around?
So, 2 answers. For the longest time, people would come to me and say, Kym, why don't you do another? And in my mind, it was like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm still working. I'm still doing my thing. And if it's that big, it's hard. You can't take a Donna Summer song and think you're going to make it fabulous when it's her song. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, I'll just sit back on it. So Hurley came to me about 8 years ago and said to me, hey, Kym, I'm doing this revamping, but it's still in my heart of hearts, I just didn't feel like it was time. And the other part of the answer to that question is, I have complete control now. And I say that from if you get where I'm coming from.
No, I do, yeah.
I was a part of the machine, and I was a part of what was going. So for me now, I thought, okay, it's 35 years later. I still look good. I still can say, and it just felt right to me. It just felt right. And the last part of the answer to the second part of the answer of the question is Armada Music dropped into my messenger on Instagram. And Mikkel and Armin, they both asked if I was interested in revamping Too Blind to See It. Well, here we are, 35 years later. Then timing became right for me, because they're one of the hottest labels out there. It was all about timing and control. And I was able, and the other part of it is I didn't own those other vocals, but I own these.
Ah, okay. That makes a lot of sense.
So it was a business move. It was an emotional move for me, because I wanted it to be about me, and I made the decision, and then Armada. So it was a no-brainer. So that's how that all...
I think the thing that I like about it the most is the fact that it's different enough that it's not the original, but it's not so different that it forgets the original. It's paying homage to the original. Right. And there are, obviously right. Alison Limerick, Where Love Lives, was recently on a Christmas advert. And what I really, really like about this is where we're re-releasing some of these great dance tunes is obviously the people that like us that were there and they remember it the first time and everything else like that. And we go, this is great. But then we got to remember, we've got children, or there are younger people listening to it right now, discovering it for the first time. Exactly. And if they get to discover all this new music, I'm all for it.
I am too. And I just to piggyback on what you said, it still holds true to the original, but it freshens it up. It gives it my vocals are more lush. I'm a mature woman now. And, they gave me favor when it came to that, because that was real important to me. I said, please don't make me sound like the chipmunk from, back in the day. But and they wanted it to be as close. And they got Ridney and Earnshaw. I mean, who better? They're great DJs, and they did the remix and productions. And I had a wonderful engineer, Des Ford, who did, all of the vocal stuff for me. And I just felt like it sounds fresh. You know what I mean? And to reach the young folks, the kids, your kids, my kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A whole different dynamic. Mm-hmm.
Now, as well as all of your success in the 90s, you had another hit in 2017 with Turn It Up.
Yes.
It reached the Billboard Dance charts. Did that reignite your confidence to get going creatively again?
I think it did. I think it did. The gentleman that wrote Turn It Up, he wrote it specifically for me, and his name is Thomas Arambula, and he was one of those people like, Kym, you need to get back out here. And he's a phenomenal writer. And there was something about the song. And I'm like, okay, let's try it. And it put me, I think what it did was it made people realize, oh, she's still out there. They may have been looking a little bit, but she's still there. So it was time for me to turn it up. So now I'm turned up, and now I'm ready to burn up the charts again. That's what I'm hoping anyway.
Now, obviously, you've seen clubbing change a lot over the last 35 years. When you're out there now performing Too Blind to See It, and you're seeing all the youngsters in the clubs and everything else, I'm not going to say what do you prefer or anything else like that, because I think we just live in different times and things are different. But what's the big thing that you really notice, the big thing that draws your attention?
Cell phones.
Yeah.
you know, everybody can record. And I love that. I love that because I'll get pictures and videos from people, and I can critique what I've done. I mean, that's really the biggest thing I saw at this past gig I did at it's called 5 O'Clock Club, and it was at the Casino in Leeds. I can't think of the name of it.
I saw the performance online. Yeah. It looked amazing.
And it was good. I was so proud. And it was with the gospel choir. But the thing is, I noticed, it was a younger demographic in there, but I saw the old heads in the background, doing their things. So it made it still feel the same, but still fresh, because we were able to go from the original, and then we just kind of moved into the new one, and you could see the bouncing and the happiness. But the cell phones and people taking that was to me that was the highlight, just knowing that they have me forever,
Well, look, I always say, regardless of everything else, in life, especially at the moment, and social media and TikTok and everything else like that, I always say, cream rises to the top, and the best will always come back and do their thing. And when you sent me this, and when I heard this, I was just blown away, because the thing is, it's very, very difficult, especially with something you've known all your life and you've got personal connections to it, and you can remember going out and dancing to it all night long and things like that. And you think, oh, there's a new version. Please don't be bad.
Yes.
Please don't be bad.
Yes.
And then you hear it and it's good. And thank you. And it brings me joy to play it now.
Oh, thank you. Now that means everything to me. Don't make me cry. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. So, no, that really does mean a lot, because that was the trepidation years ago. And I've seen so many remixes and so many. That's why we called it more of a reimagined version, as opposed to some DJ just trying to do something different to it, And that really, really makes me happy to hear that. And I've had that response from other DJs and just people like in different podcasts, people like you. And that makes me even feel like I made the right decision even more so. So I appreciate that. I really do.
Well, look, Kym, I could literally talk to you all day about this, but unfortunately we're going to have to move on. Thank you so much for talking to me.
I get it.
If people want to find you on the socials or where else, what's the best place to find you and get a hold of you?
Well, TikTok is I'm in love with TikTok right now. So it's Kym Sims Official on TikTok. And then Facebook, of course. But Facebook, Kym Sims, of course, Official. Instagram, and it's Behind the Diva Door. So if you go to Kym Sims or Kym_Sims Behind the Diva Door, you'll find me on Instagram. And I've got a landing page that I'm working on. It should be ready this week. So I'm trying to tweak things as well. But those, I would say, would be the best ways to find me.
Well, Too Blind to See It 2026 comes out at the end of June. We can't wait for it to be out in the world, but we've been playing it for a while now. We're going to keep playing it. Kym, there is only one thing left to do, and that is for you to introduce your new song.
Hey, everybody, it's Kym Sims, and here we are in 2026, and we've got a reimagined version of Too Blind to See It. Love it, love it, love it. Thanks.